All right, so as you can see, we have the information up on the screen for you. This is the name of our class, Mustard Seed Seedling Reading Club. We're going to start with lesson 1, and today we're just going to go over being introduced to what we're going to be doing following onto our next class. Okay, so I'm going to give you some information. So I want you all to have your good listening ears on and make sure that you're paying attention. And the other thing, participating in class. So I want to see you on your camera, and I hope that you will be talking and participating in class, because that's one of the most important things to be doing. All right, so this is the name of our class is Mustard Seed Seedling, and it's reading levels grade 1 through 2. Okay, so that's what we will call ourselves. There are other classes, and then you guys can go to these other classes. Once you get graduated from this class, you can move to the next one of growth, and then you can do your mustard seed span as you get older. All right, and you'll have a lot more reading at that time. Right. So we're going to go look at the syllabus right now and see what we're going to be looking at seeing this. All right, so as you can see from our screen, so look, so this is lesson 1. This is today, lesson 1. This is the date, August 25th. And we're going to do our introduction to our syllabus right now, and then we are going to talk about our homework policy and our pre-study questions that you guys will be doing. All right, our first book is Over in the Meadow for me. All right, so that's our first one, Over in the Meadow. And we will be spending 2 weeks reading this book. Okay, so here is an outline. We call this an outline of the information on our books that we're going to be reading. I'm going to start with, of course, Over in the Meadow. And that is our first book we're going to be reading. And as you can see from this list right here, do you see this name in blue? This is our author. Now, the author is the person who is writing the book. Okay, we also have an illustrator who draws these pictures. Sometimes the author and the illustrator are the same person, but most cases you'll have an author who is the writer of the story, and then you have someone who draws these beautiful pictures. They are called the illustrator. So we're going to talk about our pre-study information. So each week we will read a few chapters of the book. Okay, now that may just be the amount of pages or chapters if the book has one. So there will be a reminder of the number of chapters or pages that you must read, and it will be sent out to you at the beginning of the week. So it'll probably maybe be over the weekend or on Monday, because our class is on Tuesday and Thursday. Just be prepared to share your answers to the questions in class. All right. So if this is just a sample of maybe what you might be asked to do for questions about your reading. So the first book is Over the Meadow. All right, so this is just a sample. We would listen to the music if there's music for it. And they're going to maybe ask you questions like, how many voices do you hear in the music? So, and they might ask you questions like, where do the turtles live? All right, so we're going to, our expectations in our class. This is what is expected in class. And these are the things that we're going to talk about. So one is our read aloud skills, practicing our read aloud skills so that we have fluency in our reading. And thank you. All right, so the next one we're talking about is being prepared for class. Here's another one that's the most important, guys. Pay attention in class, right? So that means you're on the camera, your camera's open, your microphone is muted, and you're listening to everyone in your class, because we want to be kind to everyone else and not disrupt class. But we also want to be paying attention so that when I call on you, you can answer the question. All right, so here's our class participation requirement. You will take a screenshot of your pre-study notes and answers and send them to our group chat at least 1 hour before class. All right, so here's our most important thing we're going to be talking about: class rules. Be prepared before class begins. We spoke about that, all right? Right before. Read your assigned reading before class begins. Write your answers to your pre-study questions and do your research vocabulary if there is research vocabulary. Okay? All right, so always let us see your face during class time. That means your camera is always on. So, all right, so we talked about our first skill set and we talked about reading fluently, right? Yes, we did. So fluently means just like we are talking. I am speaking in a fluent manner. When you speak, you also do the same thing. So we want to make sure our reading is fluent as we're reading in our books, all right? And as we're reading aloud or out loud when we're reading. So we're going to talk about our reading fluently. So we are going to talk about our very first one. Thank you, Samuel. Reading fluently includes reading out loud at a good speed, okay? Well, this one is my very favorite part. A lot of people will read and they just have boring reading. So let's listen to this first one and then we can see which one you like.
Schools need to make sure that all students are treated with respect. Victims can get help from adults. Victims can learn to make sure to stay with a friend. They can ignore bullies and walk away, or they can tell the bullies to stop.
Thumbs down. That's not just a maybe. Thumbs down. All right. Yeah, he was a little fast. He's always really fast when he reads. Let's try this one. See if it sounds better.
Schools need to make sure that all students are treated with respect. Victims can get help from adults. Victims can learn to make sure to stay with a friend. They can ignore bullies and walk away, or they can tell the bullies to stop.
Oh, I like this one. Did you guys like this one? Yeah, she has a lot of expression in her voice and she is giving meaning to what she's trying to say, right? So yeah, I like this one. This one's my favorite of the two. All right, now you guys understand about expression. All right, so we talked about reading fluently, and now we're going to talk about analyzing questions, okay? So if we're going to practice this, we have all of this information over here to read. You see it? So I'm going to talk to you about one thing here. Do you see how this word there is indented? It starts here, and then this does the same, and this does the same. How many paragraphs do we have here? 1, 2, and 3 paragraphs, right? And we have a lot of sentences in here in each one of these paragraphs. So in this particular case, when we are reading and we need to answer questions over here along the side, we would use this sentence if I say, all right, can you tell me how you found the answer to that question? And you would go over in here in your reading and you would say, oh, it's in paragraph 2, sentence 2. Paragraph 2. Sentence 2. All right, so let's go over here and look at our words on this side. Let me see. Let me grab a really, let's see. Okay, number 8 here. These insects love to eat A, dry wood, B, damp wood. Oh, let me see this other one because it's covered up. C, hardwood, or D, any kind of wood. Well, I have to go over here and find out how to answer this question. Now, I would have already read this before, so I can go over and answer my questions here. So this is a great one. For our skill sets, we're going to role play. There's going to be some role playing, and you might role play with your moms and dads or brothers or sisters. Maybe like Esther and Joseph can role play together. But we're also going to be doing that. And then we're going to prepare for our next lesson. Okay. Yay. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Class is over.
Yay. Good job, everyone. Thank you all for being here. This is the sound of the end. We say goodbye and good night to you, right?
Goodbye.